Welcome back to Design Bundles. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal, and today I'm going to teach you guys my top tips when it comes to HTV, also known as heat transfer vinyl. So let's go ahead and get started. Tip number one is a cheat sheet. I highly recommend that you guys make yourself a cheat sheet if you are using multiple brands. That way you can keep up with those temps and times. Especially if you guys are new, this is going to be super handy. I even still look back at this sometimes because I'm using something like glitter or flock, and those times and temps are going to be different from a basic HTV. Now, just like Cricut's HTV, their settings are different from Caesar, so on and so forth. So you want to make yourself a cheat sheet that you can print out and keep close by. For example, this one here is from Easypress Nation. Lots of different brands have them, Caesar, Stalls, and you can usually find those and print them out. Lots of different blogs with information on that. But I do recommend, especially if you guys are new, printing this out. And even for me, that I've been doing this for years, I still have one because I don't use some materials all the time, and it's really nice to have something to reference without having to pull up the internet or anything like that. Now, if you guys are using Cricut materials with the Cricut Easypress, I highly recommend that you guys check out Cricut's heat guide. I'll also try to link that down below for you guys. They have a very quick, easy one that you guys can go to and choose which press you're using, what materials, and it's going to give you your exact temp, time, and all of those things. So like I said, highly recommend that you get yourself a cheat sheet. Tip number two are these sample cards. You can make these yourself or purchase them. A lot of different brands offer them. Sometimes they even offer like these cards that have all of them on one little sheet. You could definitely cut out little hearts and paste them onto like a cardstock and write the information that way, or you can cut them out and put them on a ring like this. For example, I purchased these, like I said, less than $5. These are all of Caesar's glitters that you can get. And if there's something that's no longer available, you could open this up, remove it, or if they add more colors, you could cut those out and add it by just using a hole punch and then placing it back on here. So easy to make these on your own, or for example, totally worth the less than $5 to get them. You have tons of different brands, like I said. For example, these are Stalls. They have all of theirs like this, so you can do all the different shapes that you want to. Now, they don't have their information on the back side, so you can do whatever you would like, but I definitely think it makes it a lot easier. You could take your little labeler to create these. You could have Cricut write on your little pieces of cardstock and do that as well. But you can create ones for your holographics, you know, your stretch, your basics, and all of those kind of things. So I highly recommend that you guys get yourself some sample cards. Tip number three would be getting yourself a heat eraser or a cooling stone. So a cooling stone is just a little square, looks like a piece of granite. You could definitely make them on your own. And this one right here is from Stalls, in case you guys are wondering. So these are gonna help you guys cool in between layers. You can also flip your design upside down on your granite countertop, rub it on your wall and things like that. But a heat eraser is just going to help you do it so much faster. In between layers, you're not going to give it that full time. So say, for example, in between layers, we're doing 2 to 5 seconds. So we need to cool it down just a little bit and then peel. So that way we're not trying to take our HTV back up with us. So tip number three, get yourself a heat eraser. Tip number four is a lint roller. You're going to need to roll your t-shirts before you press them, because say, for example, I have a piece of lint caught underneath my HTV. It can cause that HTV to peel whenever it's washed, or somebody's going to start picking at that lint that may be out because the lint is not stuck to the t-shirt, which means it can then move. So I highly recommend that you guys lint roll your t-shirts first. And you can also use it for whenever you're weeding to grab those little pieces. You can actually just stick your pieces onto this, and then that way you can just keep weeding. I highly recommend this brand right here. I'll have it linked down below for you guys. It's over on Amazon, and it came with like 2 of these rolls and I believe like 4 refills. And what I love about this one is the way that it comes off. So for example, you get like a little corner over here, so you're gonna get it started. And these are gonna peel just like this. So there's no yanking it for where the perforation is or trying to tear it or anything like that. You're just going to peel them over and over again. So they're super duper nice for a quick change out, because you guys know time is money, and this is just gonna help save you guys some time whenever you guys are working with your HTV. Tip number 5 is a paper trimmer. I highly recommend that you guys invest yourself in a paper trimmer. It doesn't matter the brand. You just really want to make sure it's at least 12 inches wide, so that way you can fit most materials in here. This is going to be great for, cutting down your materials before you place it on your mat, or cutting down your materials after the fact to get that straight line. This is going to help save you from a pair of scissors where you're going to get a little bit more of a wonky cut, and you're going to waste that material because now you're going to want to skip over that because it's not a straight line. So highly recommend that you guys invest yourself into a paper trimmer, and most paper trimmers you can get for $10 or less. So get yourself a paper trimmer. Tip number 6 is rulers. I highly recommend, if you guys are new to HTV, is getting yourself a ruler. It could be something as basic as just a cheap little ruler like this. This one is from Cricut. This is actually designed for sewing, but it's perfect for your t-shirts because you're going to place it right under that neckline. It's going to be the perfect amount down, and you're just going to center it. So for example, this is 18 inches. So at the 9-inch mark, it's going to be the center. So you're going to center this up with your tag behind your t-shirt, and boom, you're just going to place it right there. So rulers are super nice to have on hand. So you can go as cheap as like this. You can even do the wooden 25-cent rulers that you can get towards school time, or you can even make them yourself. So we have lots of different files for you guys to make these with your glow forges. You guys can cut these out with acrylic, wood. You can make them with your Cricut, silhouette, and things like that. For example, this one right here, I'll link it down below. I have made a video on this. You can use your Cricut pins along with your blade to make these. What's great about these, if I lose it, I tear it up, I can just make another one. So I made this with some heavier cardstock. This is holographic here. Now, if you guys do want more of a professional ruler for your HTV, I do recommend this one right here. It's called a T-square, and you just kind of line it up like this, and it's really nice to find that exact placement. So this is a great one, and what's nice is it's just like this, and you can place it into your drawer. So this is a great one to have, and I think they're around $30 or so. Another one from that same brand, this is Logo Gridded. This is really cool because you're going to take this little circle right here. It would go right here at your neckline in the middle, and you're going to be able to find that pocket placement. So if you're going to do a monogram or anything like that, this is a great ruler, and I highly recommend having it in your stash. Tip number 7 is a bright pad. You can get a bright pad, light pad. This one, for example, is from Cricut, but you can also get them on Amazon for around 20 bucks. I do recommend getting one of these for those really hard, intricate pieces to weed where you have lots of little pieces. These are great to keep on hand. Now you can also use the brightness from your iPad as well. So you can just go to a plain white screen, for example, on Procreate, brighten up your screen, and you can use your iPad as well, especially if you guys have that 12-inch one. So another thing I recommend is a bright pad or a light pad. Tip number 8 is weeding tools. You can never have too many weeding tools. So say, for example, I may have 5 of this one, 5 of this one, or even just the fact that I have a variety of different kinds. I highly recommend that you guys keep several of these on hand because number 1, you're going to lose them. Number 2, the tips can get bent and things like that. You definitely don't want to get stuck with your project without a weeding tool. So here's a few of my favorites that I use all of the time. So the good old trusted Cricut one. Highly recommend. This is great for weeding. I will use this one probably 80% of the time. You can use this for most projects. So just a little Cricut weeding tool here. Another favorite here is Caesar. It's a little bit more heavyweight, but I do love the tip on this one. So this is super nice. And then a couple more that I do recommend is this one right here is called a pen tool. So it looks like an ink pen, it retracts inside, but what's really cool about the tip of it is it's a needle. So you can use this for those really small, intricate pieces. So you know those teensy tiny pieces, this you're just going to stab it and be able to pull it right out. Now another great one is this stab and grab. This is a pair of tweezers with a point. So you can stab it and simply grab it. This one is great as well. So lots of different options whenever it comes to your weeding tools. And like I said, you can never have too many. Tip number 9 is a collapsible trash can. or just some sort of small bin. You could definitely just use like a little Tupperware if you wanted to. I just highly recommend keeping something like this close to you, so whenever you're weeding out, you can be putting it right in here. What's nice about this small can is if I lose a piece, I can simply dump this and find it instead of having to dig through all of the trash. Also, it's going to keep my work surface clean, and it's all right here. So this right here is actually from like the sewing department, but I'll have one link down below that you can get for the car and things like that. So what's really nice for this one, you can collapse it, and then this is just going to go around it just like so, and you can store it in a drawer. It's great for travel and all of those things. So highly recommend get yourself a trash can. Another great one is this little weeding tool here. This is actually made for nail polish. And what you can do is get it on your fingers like this. And so when you're weeding those small pieces, instead of constantly trying to pull that stuff off the end here, you're just simply going to pop it in this hole and pull up. And that's going to grab your materials right inside. Once you're done, you can squeeze it, you can see it in there, and you can dump it right into your trash can. Now, there is ones made out there now. I'll have some link down below that's specifically for vinyl. There's also ones with suction cups where you can stick them on your counter or your bright pad and things like that. So get yourself, I'm going to consider this a trash can, get yourself a couple little trash cans to keep on your workspace. Tip number 10 would be purchasing your HTV. I highly recommend purchasing your favorite colors or the colors that you're going to use more in the rolls because you're going to go through them so much faster. It's going to be a lot nicer than having these sheets like this on hand. The 12 by 12s are perfect for colors that you don't use as often, or even if you do use them, but you don't use them as much as the rolls, they're nice to just be able to pull out that one sheet and load it on your mat or load it right into your machine. So I do recommend purchasing your favorite colors by the roll. The colors that I obviously use more is the black and white. That's the majority of my design, and then usually I'll have layers of colors. So the 12 by 12s are perfect for that. So highly recommend purchasing those by the roll. I do love when brands have them like this and not with a cardboard inside because they take up less space. You can really see the material you have and they take up less space. And then you can reseal these with some tape and then stick them right inside your drawer. When it comes to the sheets like this, I organize them. I got some of the Alex drawers from IKEA, and then I just have them by my basics, glitters, you know, more specialty like holographic and puff. And then you can organize them by your pinks, yellows, blues, and all of those things to make it easy to flip right in and pull out what you need. Always put it back where it goes, and then have yourself a separate drawer for your scraps. Tip number 11 is layering your HTV. There is certain materials that you cannot layer on top of, and it has to be your final layer. For example, you cannot layer on top of glitter. Glitter needs to be your final layer. At first, it's going to seem like it's sticking, but the second you wash it, it's going to come right back off because it doesn't have something to adhere to. So you cannot layer on top of glitter, flock, things like brick, pattern HTV. You do not want to layer on those. What you want to do is use a knockout. So you either use a knockout design or you create a knockout using, for example, slice and things like that. So a knockout is basically the design. For example, if this is glitter, it's going to go in between the layers or next to the layer instead of right on top. So definitely make sure you guys notate the ones that you guys cannot layer on top of. So this has to be your final layer. Don't forget to mirror your design. When it comes to HTV, it is a pain when you forget to mirror and you cut it out, especially when it is the last of your materials. Always make sure you guys mirror your design. And if you think you're gonna forget, before you get to the cutout section, make sure you guys just flip it horizontal and you're gonna be good to go. I hope you guys enjoyed these tips. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.